Being able to just physically pet, have contact with that warm body, to have that uncomplicated, loving relationship with another being has many health benefits. It helps with reducing blood pressure, and it steadies the heartbeat. And people who are in hospice care and dealing with an illness that has taken so much from them, having contact with an animal in that way is just some pure pleasure. We have a tenderness, I think, as human beings toward animals, many of us, and so that brings that out for the patient and is often a nice point of contact, something to share together for the family members who are gathered as well.
It's important because of the patient's reaction. We walk into a room or wherever the patient happens to be, the smile on their face, the greeting they give the dog. I've had nonverbal patients, and I've been told they won't talk to you, they're nonverbal, but they talk to Hootie. She has laid down on a bed with a person who was near death for up to an hour, and I pull on her leash and say, "Ready to go now?" And oftentimes she won't move. She knows that person still needs her.
As patients and families are dealing more with the illness, maybe they're not as able to get out as much. A lot of their resources are going into caregiving expenses, and they love their animal dearly now more than ever, and yet it becomes a burden to be able to make sure the animal has what it needs. Pet Peace of Mind stepped in to be able to help with those practical needs, and so those funds are available to families for their animals. I have a list of about a half a dozen volunteers whose real passion is to support animals. So when I have a request for a Pet Peace of Mind service of some kind, then I will contact those volunteers to see who might be available and who might be best suited for it. Sometimes we've had patients who know their dogs are just chomping at the bit to be able to get outside and walk and run, and they can't do it anymore the way they used to. And so to have a volunteer who can come by a few times a week and take the dog for a walk, that's really great. If the time comes, and it does sometimes, that the patient feels that it would be better for all of them if, for one thing, if they would know, if they would have the peace of mind, which is where the program title comes from, to know what was going to happen to their animals after they passed, or when they really couldn't have them with them anymore. We work with local organizations. There, of course, the big Willamette Humane Society is a wonderful resource that we have in this community. And there's Salem Friends of Felines that works with cats. And then there are a number of other small dog rescue groups that we work with, and they are foster-based generally, where they'll have volunteer foster homes. As hospice, we're trying to support the whole person and their emotional, social support system, and many times that includes their animals. And so we don't want them to lose that in this time. They're losing a lot, and we don't want them to lose that. And we know that it takes money and it takes time and energy to be able to take care of animals the way they need to be taken care of. And so we step in with our volunteers and with our resources to be able to keep them together as long as possible.